Good morning, traders. Uh, I hope you could see my screen. I had a little fun with that. I'm sure some of you folks out there remember that song, kind of showing my age. But anyway, let's see what the magic carpet ride today brings us. All right. Um, I think we have some visitors in the room. I hope you could see my screen and hear me okay. We have multiple screens up. You could see one of my screens, and we move around to show you a couple other screens for the visitors that are on board here. And you've got Kyle's screen and Linda Rashke's screen as well. So anyway, yeah, Steppenwolf, what a great song, right? Well, let's take a look what we have here. Now we have 2 days before the end of the quarter, right? Tomorrow's the last day, I believe, of the quarter. So should be an interesting little couple days. Tonight we have the debate. That should be good for some popcorn and pizza. A little comedy is good for everyone. Anyway, so let's just take a look here at this ES. We had a nice size uh, trap up here when we made that all-time high last week. That was done during Europe, opened, could not do it during the US session, right? So I'm going to just be a little bit clearer about a couple things um, before I get into it. The red structures here, this is the US session. That's Asia, the blue, and Europe. I like to break them out because it's really important to see when we made new highs or lows, especially in this case where we made the all-time highs during Europe, even made a all-time high at that time during Asia. When we opened up, this was a big failure and a trap, so we got this big move down and we started to get some traction to the downside, right? So what are we doing here? We're inside, right? Monday's high and low. Um, was it Monday? Let's see. Yes, it was Monday's, which is really the high and low of the week. So we're trading inside. We didn't have much in numbers this week. Today we had some numbers, but a bit soft. So the market rallied. And the gold and the bonds, they all kind of popped, uh, moving together. And the EC, we'll look at those in a minute. What I did here with this US session from yesterday is I broke it out into a 30-minute bar chart. For those that don't have market profile, don't understand it, it's always good to look at it side by side. So if you're looking at a 30-minute bar chart, this is what yesterday during the US session looked like. All right. So far, you could see we did a thorough test just of the overnight during the overnight session, right? Let me take out all these arrows right here. That's Asia of yesterday's low and during the US session and bounced. The market is kind of in a bit of a neutral phase in a sense that we're still inside yesterday's US session range uh, during Asia and Europe, and we're inside the weekly high and low overall. So no direction yet, so we can have a little two-sided trading, but I think for the time being, the market is trying to catch a little bid with these numbers. Just you've got the gold and the bonds and the EC all moving higher, including the crude. So lately, it's been like that. The board's either all green or it's all red. It's just kind of a strange thing. But today we're going to see if we could catch some trades in here. I think we're still not going to have any big move out of here, tomorrow might be the bigger day. Debates will be over, which is not a big deal, but it's the last day of the quarter, the second quarter, right? All right. And then let's see, tomorrow we have some numbers. We've got personal income, core PCE price index, which could be interesting in the personal spending. PMI at 9:45 at 10 o'clock. We got consumer sentiment and inflation expectation. So that's the last day of the quarter. So that might be more of a bigger kind of range and a little bit more of a directional move. We'll see. Today, I think we could see some two-way trading. We're inside the U.S. session from yesterday's high and low. And this area right here, this high volume area was huge yesterday. It's still important. You could see that you could see the value area from Europe here. Let me get a little box out. I'm going to put a box around this value area. This is the Europe session. Look at the bottom of it. It's this big value area that was yesterday was a big flip zone, 31.32, and it's still going to be important today. Meanwhile, I think this tail up here that we had from yesterday could get tested in the early morning session. I don't think the market's going to get trashy unless we get below the pivot, which comes in all the way down at 55.26. So currently, we're pretty much inside this U.S. session, working our way up to maybe test that 49 to 50 area from yesterday. Okay. I don't think you're going to see, too much of a directional move. We would really have to get going if we got above the weekly high, which is way up here around 58. All right. So pivot is 55.26. 31 will be important. And I think we'll have a test of that 46.49 by the opening, right? All right, so we usually get a test of either the Globex high or Globex low, which is, I break it out into Asia and Europe. So one way or another, when we open up, we'll keep an eye on those levels, and I'll mark off the level before the market opens. All right. All right, for those who are joining us, you could see on the left side here on my charts, I show this. We try to mix it up and show a little of everything. So my charts, I show a 5-minute volume candle in the ES and the NAS. So you could see when we did have the number, how big the volume was when it came in. It's just a 5-minute bar, but it's very transparent when you see the volume on the bar expand. Same here. You can see it on the crude down below. We also had a little expansion here on the gold to the upside. So we'll come back to this. Here's the NAS down below, right? And you can see, my pivot on the NAS is actually a pretty decent area. You can see all these kind of tests that we had, and it's the top of the value area, the bottom of Europe. That comes in at right around this 934. Okay. All right, let's go to my other screen. Hang on a second. Take your Dramamine. Let me see. Let's go to this screen here. Should be able to see 4 markets at the moment, right? Let's start. Let's say we'll start with the crude. Okay. So this market profile, each one of these red formations here are the U.S. dailies. One day the U.S. market, and this is the overnight market. I combined them both for the crude and the other markets. It's not as crucial as the indices to break them all out. But you can see this shaded area of this price overlap. Basically, I shade it with this pool, and I call it the pool because the market will do some back and forth, and it has not had a chance, a good breakout yet. So when you have this kind of coil, we talked about this before, that we're having in this crude. If you took a spring and you try to twist it, you don't know which way it's going to go when you let go of it. That's kind of what these coils are like. So we just made it to the top of the coil in the crude, and we have some. If just look at it daily, if you look at it daily, you can look at it on Kyle's. He'll show that on the crude later. But 81.98 is the high so far this morning, and we're starting to get above this coil. So good chance that the market's going to continue up higher in the crude. Unlike the ES, we had this sideways consolidation, and it's been pretty much a bullish sideways consolidation, because this level here, this $80 level, is just a big level in general. It's this high. That's when the market broke out. So on this day, we broke out of the previous balanced area. This is also considered a market imbalance when you have all these price overlaps like this. Came out of balance, and then we spent a good six to seven sessions in a very tight market from 81.90 down to 80.20. For the crude, that's pretty tight, but it's more of a bullish consolidation. You just can't predict which way it's going to go. But now that we're getting above it, we could have a nice rally today and possibly into tomorrow. But, we take one data point at a time, right? Now, if you look at this rally that started from here, right? Pretty good rally. We rallied, balanced, and now it looks like, they're going to try to bring it above there. But I would be real careful today, especially because I don't know that we're going to get that kind of buying yet. We do have a cave down below, and the pivot where I think it could come back down to, it's very possible, is 80.90. They get below 80.90, we would have tested the inside of this cave here with these single prints. This is the point of control from yesterday. It was a big level. You could see over here, we had a low, the bottom of this cave, these single prints. So if they get back below 80.90, then you can have a little bit of a flurry back down. I think for the most part, what the crude does is you get everybody excited, get them long before the 9 o'clock or 9:30 opening, and we'll see if they come back in and try to fill the cave. Okay. Now, when I say the cave, it's an undeveloped area that the market usually likes to come back into. Here's the ledge. This is a ledge, and these single prints, if we get back below 81.25, we'll probably come back and maybe push down to the pivot. Time being, I'm friendly to the upside. I think the market will continue to remain fairly strong. We're up $1 or $2 in the crude. So let's take one data point at a time today. And I don't think there'll be a rush to do anything in these markets, too much of a rush. Now I want you to notice the same thing here. We've got this blue shaded area, right? And we had a fake out. This was this level right here, that when we came out of the consolidation, was a bit of a trap. And I'll tell you why. We came out, closed above the sideways price overlap. The overnight market went and took out this high. We opened up this day, came right back and closed right in the middle of this. So that was a bit of a trap, especially that it made it up to the inside pocket. So it wasn't ready to break out to the upside. I think it was just a little bit too much. But got everybody excited. Everybody loves the gold, right? Nice shiny gold. But for the time being, you could see what we're doing. We went down to the bottom of this level, and it's kind of funny. 2304.20 was the swing low, and I think we got down to 2304.7, right? It's funny how we do that, right? So the US session today, this morning, opened up, and of course, with the number, they got a little bit excited, and we don't have a gap, but we do have single prints down here we could come back into. For the time being, we made it up to the center of gravity, but I'm not convinced the gold is ready to go up higher. I think the gold could come back down to the pivot. These single prints, this cave, that could have been trappish. 2316 is my pivot in this in this gold. Okay, let's take a look at. Yeah, you can see. Let me do this. If you look at the gold, the bonds, and the EC back to back, you could see they all, liked the number and got excited and did. Had a pop, but will we sustain it is the question, right? All right, so let's take a look at the bonds. Now the bonds have also been in this big sideways coil. The only difference, though, it came out to the downside where the gold didn't quite break the support. The bonds did, and what do? They pulled back to the scene of the crime. Now, you really need 2 days of closing below a coil like this for me to be a little bit more acceptance that accepting the fact that the market could continue to break down. For me, this is a little trappish because the overnight session made a lower low and we couldn't do it on the opening, and we're right back to this breakout area. And my pivot comes in at point of control from yesterday, 119.04 and 119.07. Use that as a over under. We get above 19.07, this level, we're back into the Milky Way, if you want to call it, right? All right, so we could go either or in the bonds. I think, this is a good level that we stopped at right above there. This is the high volume. Now it's the bottom of this whole consolidation will act as a little bit of a wall for the bonds to get back above. So they get back below 1904, we can kind of bring it back down and do some distribution in this area. All right. Call me crazy. This EC, a little bit different, but still, bit of a coil. We had, hang on 1 second. We had a test up here, held this overhead resistance, came right back, came down, tried to catch a little bit of a rally, could not get really above this sideways, little balance area where the market tried to balance, had a retest, held the bottom again, went to the inside. So we're really in a big coil for the time being, and we had this gap from in the EC from yesterday. Not yesterday, actually, from this gap here is from Monday's low to Tuesday's high, and we just filled it. So, that's a constructive, but if you look at where this gap is and where the market is, it's really in the middle of this big coil. So you still can have some two-way traffic, not a clear direction. So we watch these levels. These are, for me, decision levels when you get up there, and see how the market treats it. If it spikes into a level and accepts the level, or rejects that level, then then market could come back. Now we just went up to this inside pocket, fill this gap, and that might be it possibly for now. My pivot's way down here because it's the bottom of this coil, and this is the point of control from the overnight or from the US session, which we did take out these lows, but we didn't close below. So if we get back below the previous US session low and we fill this overnight cave, the market could then unravel, but I don't think so. I mean, you could see after this number that the ES, the gold, and the bonds are all like having a little bit of a party to the upside for the time being. But we'll see, what the EC wants to do. We're in the middle of the coil. I would think, we even might have a short-term top. This is the inside pocket. You have some resistance right around the top of this gap. From this overnight session, this is the bottom of the value area. So that might hold, and you might just see us kind of dribble back down. All right. All right. So let's go back to my other screen. All right. During the day, for those who are guests, I will I put some trades in the room that you could see. Basically, the way it works is you'll see them like right on the screen, like say an offer, just slide it. You see in order, and I usually put in some trades when I see them in the ES and the crude, sometimes the gold, and rarely, but sometimes the EC and the bonds. But the main thing is we're here to give you some trading ideas, give you some direction. Any trades that I put up, if you want to follow them, that's fine. If not, I mean, and you should be managing your own orders and making your own decisions in the big picture. But if you agree with something I'm doing, we can jump on board. And I try to put in trades on this ID here for the room that everybody can do easily. I'm not I don't put in something that you're in for 2 seconds or 10 seconds or a minute, because everybody has a different platform. So anyway, the main thing, like I said, is we're here to give you some trading ideas, and we also have a nice member section that, we share all our indicators and webinars that myself and Kyle and Linda too have done. So you're welcome if you join us to dive into those. But anyway, for the time being, for the guests that are here, I hope you enjoy it. And let's see if we can have some fun today. It should be a decent day. I think tomorrow will be even more of a volatile type of day. Last day of the quarter. Friday is always a big day. We have some numbers, and then we'll be, there'll be the day after the debate. So that should be probably more interesting. So, but today we opened up the spigots a little bit. So let's see if we can put some trades on the board. We're going to be open in 5 minutes. I'm right here, and if I see something, I'll let you know, and I'll chime in. And same with Kyle. And by the way, on a day like today, I would let the first 5 minutes play out, maybe even the first 15 minutes, because after we have an extension move on some, these, some numbers, you want to really consider just waiting for a clearer picture after the first 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to shut up. We got 4 minutes to go, and I'll be right here.